All right, so the other night, after the Discord got up and running, we got a squad together that same evening. Some people poured in, and I set up my very first squad match in War Thunder. Obviously, I've been set in a squad by the game every now and then, but it was always some stranger. Never once had I actually been part of a team within the team. And let me tell you right now, playing War Thunder in a squad is a completely different game. And to me, it's dramatically better. And I wasn't even that good at it. They dragged me through and they smiled the entire time. And it was an absolute blast. We all subconsciously took on roles. I stopped getting blindsided for the first time in my War Thunder history. We attacked as a unit, we moved as a unit, and we could finally plan the battle. And I learned a ton in a very short time frame. And look, if you've been wanting to get in on a few squad games, I set up a Discord. It's got a lot of great people already who are happy to play alongside. Don't need voice chat if you don't want to. Just hop in, ask around. We'll get some matches going. I've got the link in the description here. So let me start off with what I said about the roles. If you've seen a few of my videos, you know I'm not the best War Thunder player, but I'm slowly moving up the skill ladder. I usually go into the battle assuming I'm in the bottom third, at least, of performance, and often just making it through a match, win or lose, is a victory for me. By the way, I'm sorry about the lack of audio in some of these clips. I goofed up the audio when I was using the voice chat, so some of these matches don't have the game audio, but I still love the footage. I wanted to use it. So the four of us spawn in, and we settle in on a direction. And at no point ahead of this did we formally decide on anything, but people just played their styles right away. One guy was an incredible spotter. I don't know how he was doing it, but he was always out front calling out the enemy tanks the moment he spotted them. Tanks I would have never noticed, I suddenly knew were coming. It was huge. We had this one brash, brazen attacker and one more calculated attacker, both effective in their own assaults, and they were both doing great. Tanks were just dropping left and right, and me, of course, I was bringing up the rear, supporting fire from afar, while still being overly cautious, and even I got some kills. Now, eventually, a few of them got in planes, and they were either flying around, bombing the hell out of the enemy tanks based on our spots, or they were spotting the tanks for us and calling them out for us to attack. It was truly a beautiful thing to witness, so cool to watch everyone contribute. And you can't fathom, or maybe you can if you've done this for a while, but for me, I couldn't fathom what a difference it made to finally operate with some knowledge of enemy position. It was night and day. Rather than my usual slowly creeping forward, waiting for the shell to come out of nowhere, I could move with a little more confidence because I knew that most enemies were accounted for and I could position accordingly. So that leads into the attacks. And here was this other thing of beauty. When four squad mates are in the same area with a unified vision and communicating, the enemy is in way worse shape. You can call out when you're under pressure. You can call out when their gun is trained on you versus scanning the horizon for one of your teammates. And that opens up so many more attack openings. We're moving forward with gusto, just clearing them out. And at one point, I think there was a KV-1 that would normally terrorize a team, but since there were four of us closing in, we could call out directions and we tore it up. Truly gorgeous. Also, side note, it's crazy how much tank knowledge experienced players have. I mean, they'd spot something way across the map and be like, oh, that's a Churchill. I can't even name them all. Or that's a Tiger. Watch out. I'm like, how do you guys know this stuff? Amazing. So same attack concept later on. I was in a weak Italian tank. I didn't have the guns to take out most people, especially the guy who was right on top of me. I could see this tank trained on me, but I had taken some damage. There wasn't much I could do. I'm just taking some hits, and for whatever reason, my tank was surviving. I guess he was doing solid shot, couldn't hit anything important. One of my teammates pulls up, helps me repair to keep them from finishing me off. My other teammates come around the side. I'm calling out, hey, don't worry, he's looking straight at me. They take him from the side. They blow him up. We move forward again. Wonderful, crazy, powerful. Now, once we mopped up any given area, the part that was sneaky strong was the ability to have multiple people moving in unison. Do we push toward the next objective? Do we push toward their spawn? These are things that are incredibly risky on your own, but all of a sudden work incredibly well as a unit. This lets you really take command of the map because If 4 united people decide to move on and join 2 more randoms, suddenly those numbers become overwhelming. And that leads to control of the battlefield. With that many eyes working toward one goal, we were actually able to make moves with intelligence rather than all of us scrambling around in hopefully a roughly similar direction. As an example, we captured a point and then needed to make that decision. We chose to push toward the next objective. And then our eyes in the sky said, hey, there's 2 tanks moving from spawn toward the point you're about to abandon. So rather than us moving on, letting them cap it without consequence, we repositioned, we hung out, we're ready to get them. Of course, I think our plane bombed them both anyway, but we were ready if they had made it down there. And the hidden benefit that didn't happen live on the battlefield was the squad members beforehand walking me through some key settings in the game that is going to help my experience. Now, yeah, these are settings that have been called out in the comments multiple times that I haven't quite gotten around to doing. But as we were getting ready to start a game, they said, hey, wait, change this thing, change up your engine sound versus enemy, turn off this grass finally, bring that ammo down, you lunatic. Also, here's how squad points work. Huge quality of life improvements. Now, I'm not going to claim that we won every single match we played as a squad. After all, that skill gap still exists. I think we split wins and losses across the matches we played evenly. But let me tell you, this squad match dramatically lessens the pain of the War Thunder grind. Even if I didn't play that well and we lost, the losses are still a lot less depressing when you're doing it with friends, where otherwise alone it's just me at night shaking my head angrily at how I got blown up by an enemy I'd never once seen. It truly was great. It was so cool to watch how smart the better players played. It was amazing to have squad mates at my side to take out enemies that were keying in on me. And even though I wasn't always doing the shooting, it was so much fun to watch what looks like invincible tanks just getting knocked from every single side to finally get a kill. I mean, there was a guy last night, he was just looking around, he'd say, oh, there's a tank. Oh, got him. Hey, there's a tank. Oh, got him. Oh, there's a tank. Someone else got him. And I'm sitting there and I'm wheeling my gun around. I'm like, how is this guy working so fast? Truly a different level of talent that I am so grateful to have on my side. And so that's why the title of this video is what I now believe. It's that War Thunder and Squads is an entirely different game. And that is all for me today, my friends. Thank you for coming along as I learned the joy of squads. If you see me online and want to play some low BR tanks, I'll be your guy for a long time to come. Subscribe if you can. Either way, I still hope to see you next time. Mediocre Thunder, signing off.